Hi, everyone. It's Amanda Moore coming to you live from Firehouse Vigilance Platform for Volume 10 of the Blast Out. And we're doing things a little bit different, starting with Volume 10. And I'm super excited. Heather Yaller is my first guest to add to the Blast Out. Corley and I discussed this and ran it by the producer, Sam, and it just made sense to invite a guest on that has a conference that's coming up, because who better to talk about the conference than the person that's actually putting it on themselves. So Heather Yaller has graciously agreed to join us today. And so I'm going to just do a little quick informal introduction to Heather, and then we're going to just dive right into the conference that her and her husband, Joe, has coming up in a couple of months. So again, this is my friend Heather Yaller. Her and her husband, Joe, run Carolina Fire Days. And Heather, yeah, let's just jump into it. The conference is November 8th through the 11th. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Awesome. So anything that you want to tell us about you and Joe, and just kind of let everybody know who you guys are.
Okay. So we have been married for, oh my goodness, 14 years, I believe, somewhere in there. 11, I don't even know. I don't even keep track anymore.
At some point, it's so long. What
We've
does it
been
matter?
together for a very long time. And, it's always something going on, with that fire life. It's always hectic. It's always, you never know what's going to happen.
Yes.
So Joe has always into training. He's gone to conferences for as long as I've known him. Used to get a little upset about it. He would go off and be gone. He'd call and so excited about everything. And I would get a little bitter because, like, I'm still home and
Yeah.
working and taking care of kids. And it sounds like he's having a vacation. And he comes home and goes right back to work and working extra to make up for all that time.
Yes. Yeah.
So it was getting pretty rough. I was like, I don't think I like
It's
this.
a sacrifice on the family's end for sure.
Right. Well, Joe's had this dream, the whole time, and he wanted to bring a fire conference to Charlotte. And in order to do so, it's best to kind of scope out what all that entails. So he's taken notes at every single one of these things that he's going to, along with bettering himself as a fireman.
Good.
And so he did it. And then the more I started getting a little bit more bitter and, holding things over his head about it, he's like, all right. So I go with him to fire conferences and we start small and work our way up. And the first thing that I saw was him doing a presentation at almost like a tactics on tap type thing. And he gave his presentation, and it was that moment that kind of flipped the switch for me. I got to see him in an element that I've never seen him in before.
Yeah.
Him really sharing his passion and
Yes.
really getting fired up and into it, and then everybody else taking it in.
Yeah.
It was just, it was,
Oh, it's
it's,
super rewarding.
yeah. And so then after that, he took me to a conference that I got to actually listen to other people speak. And a lot of the things are on leadership and stuff like that. And I actually learned a lot for myself because, I mean, let's face it, as the wives of firemen, we are leaders in our home because they're not there to lead all the time.
Absolutely.
So I actually was able to take in a lot of that for myself. Then after that, we went to the fire conference in Portland. And that was where I actually got to try the stuff. Like, they let me knee walk. I put on gear. I forced a door.
Oh,
And
wow.
when I went to force the door the first time, it took a really long time. And I mean, even to the point where I couldn't even do it myself. I had somebody else, we're 2-man force.
Yeah.
And when I was done, my arms were like spaghetti. I couldn't breathe. I was tired. I was like, oh, I'm done. They're like, oh, no, you're just getting started. You got to go get that line. You got to go in, put the fire out, see if there's any victims, pull them out, all this stuff. I'm
Right.
like, we're going to die.
Whole other level of respect
It
for what they
was.
do. Yeah.
It was a huge perspective for me.
And that's a controlled glimpse too of what they have to deal with. That's a planned out, methodical event. And so that's just a small part of what they actually have to deal with.
Exactly. Not knowing what you're going into, the
Yeah.
decisions they have to make on a dime.
Yeah.
And when I was sitting there, like processing all of this, I was like, how many other wives don't realize all that goes into this? It's more than just putting
The
water on
majority, yeah.
fire. And so it really did change my perspective and how I even treat my husband when he comes home off of shift. If he did have a lot going on or they did
Mhm.
do training, because normally I'm ready with the to-do list.
Yes, yeah.
Like, let's go. And he's like, I'm tired. And I'm
Well,
like, God,
that's because, let's face it, like 10 things have broken in the 24 hours they're gone. And, so much happens when they're gone that when they get home, it's like, all this happened yesterday and I need you to fix it.
yeah,
So,
absolutely. And so that's kind of where we kind of connected together when it came to Twisted Fire Industries and Carolina Fire Days and implementing both sides into it and realizing we needed to bridge the gap between the fire service and training and our families because there was so much disconnect between the two. You
yeah.
know, saying leave your, work at work, bring it through the door. And we've learned that we need to talk about these things. I need to
Yeah.
know what calls you have ran so I know where your headspace is. When he comes in and he's, kind of being very irritable and snippy about the dishes in the sink or something very minor that he's like biting our heads off about. I'm like, used to take offense to that. Like,
Sure.
I'm a terrible wife, well, then wash them yourself. When now I know that he maybe have had to done CPR on a 10-month-old and that's
Absolutely.
still weighing on him. So I stop him now and I'm like, this is not what you're upset about. I need you to go talk to somebody
Yeah.
or go clear whatever it is that you got to do to clear your head. I'll handle it.
Well,
But
it helps, I think, it puts things in perspective. It helps us to respect those times of we don't know what goes on when they're gone on shift, and so to be a little bit more mindful. But I mean, I think it's just healthy for the whole family dynamic to be involved and to understand, to get your structure down of what does that look like. And I think by you being involved so heavily with the conferences, it really gives you I don't want to say an advantage, but it is an advantage of sorts to really understand that lifestyle,
mhm,
and implement that into your family of what is this going to look like when he comes home, if he's had a bad day or a bad shift or whatever.
absolutely. Yeah.
So that's how Carolina Fire Days came together. I love that you guys share the passion together. I know when I travel to conferences with Corley, people that aren't in the fire service or married into the fire service or they don't get it. And so when I tell my friends that aren't fire service related, I have such a blast. Like this is my family too. Like I go to these conferences and I see these people and they treat me like I'm their sister, or whatever. And it's so rewarding and comforting in a lot of ways. But I'm like, I have a blast. I
I do
have so much fun at these conferences. And it's been a lot of fun over the last 5 years or whatever of me and Corley sharing the same. I'm not firefighter. I don't even pretend like I know the lingo or anything like that.
right.
But to just be involved in what, like you said earlier, what Joe was so passionate about, to be involved in what Corley's so passionate about, it's very meaningful to me to be able to share that with him. And so I want to talk about that real quick because a lot of people say, well, how do you keep from losing yourself? How do you keep your identity? That's been a pretty hot topic that I get asked quite a bit. How do I keep my identity? Because it does on the surface look like I'm so wrapped up in the fire service that I don't have my own stuff. I got my own business. I got my own friends. I got my own family. I got my own hobbies.
Same.
People don't see that, because I don't blast that all over social media. But how do you keep your identity in, because a lot of people know you as Heather with, Carolina Fire Days.
Mhm. Well, I mean, just as I support Joe with his dream and his passion, he's doing the same for me. I'm a social media manager and I also like my hobby. I love gardening. So when it comes to anything with that I am thinking about or have an idea about, Joe's all ears. He gets me anything that I possibly need. He helps me navigate it. Like he shows up for me. Like I did a social media class recently and he did the live streaming for me. Like he
Oh,
did,
nice.
was there, showed up and set everything up and helped. And it was his only day off for, you know, who knows how long. He was gone
Right,
5
right.
days before and then gone 5 days after. So,
Yeah.
it's really just supporting each other I show up for him, yes, but he's showing up for me too.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah, that I love that.
and
Well,
because
and
I'm working too, like, I
yeah.
that gives me the open time to go be with my friends and do things that I enjoy that maybe he don't really like, so I have the opportunity to do that too.
Yes, yeah. No, and that's the thing is I think, because I get thanked a lot when I go to conferences. "Thank you for sharing him," and I'm like, I enjoy it. Like, it's very rewarding, like I said earlier, to share him with the fire service. But just as much as I sacrificed for him, or if you want to call it that, I mean, I enjoy it. So, but he's doing the same, kind of like what you said, Joe. I mean, showed up on his day off to
Yeah.
to help take care of things, and so yeah, it's a team effort all around.
Mhm.
Um, so okay, so how long has Carolina Fire Days been going again? I don't remember if you touched on that.
It's we did the first one in 2020,
Okay.
and it was just a one-day lecture and a one-day hot class,
Okay.
and it has grown from that ever since.
Nice. And
Mhm.
so this year, what is it? Is it 2 or 3 day lecture?
Um, we're doing like a day and a half.
Day and a half? Okay.
We've kind of gone back and forth. Like yesterday, last year we did, was it 2 days? 3 days of lecture and two
Oh,
days hot. And
okay.
we realized like doing a 5-day conference really does kind of wear us out by
Yeah.
that
Oh, I can only imagine.
that 4th and 5th day, like, we're struggling. So, we've been trying to, trial and error every
Find the
year. There's
balance.
always something to improve and also getting feedback from everybody else, what they want. Because sometimes, 3 days of lecture is a lot of sitting and
No,
listening,
yeah. No,
you know?
absolutely. And that's the thing too. Corley and we've only ever put on one conference, and it was 2 line of duty deaths that happened here in Oklahoma, and it was to raise money for the families, that he had one of them had a couple, children that was left behind, and, so the money that was raised, and it was a lot of work, but we had instructors come out of the woodwork and just showed up, so they made our jobs easier. Oklahoma City Fire did the hands-on, so we didn't even have to worry about that. Just what little bit we had to do, it was exhausting, and a lot of people don't understand that. Putting
The
on these
most
conferences is self-sacrificing,
Yes.
it is endless hours of work, and that was just a one-day, I think it was a two-day lecture and a one-day hot,
Mhm.
and, like I said, and the instructor showed up, and we considering, like, the what you and Joe have to go like, we barely scratched the surface with the conference that we put on, and so I can't even imagine the amount of work that is just consuming to put one of these on. But it has to be so incredibly rewarding once it's all finished and look back and say, "That was a success. A lot of people enjoyed it. It was a great conference."
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I'm usually, like, in tears at the end of it, like, processing everything and just looking back, and I, like, well up with tears of just gratitude and love and
Yeah.
excitement of everything that had just happened, because honestly, when you look at it and you see everything unfold, it's beautiful because it's not just training, like, it's almost therapy for them at times. I mean, they're getting around like-minded people because
Yeah.
some of these departments, they're in toxic environments, and there's some that aren't into training, so they're, struggling with that and losing their why, and they're getting, poured back into at these things, and they're getting empowered, and then me seeing spouses come in and learn and light bulbs clicking and them meeting other spouses and just connecting in a whole nother level with that and building their own community.
Yes.
It's just beautiful and it's I just love it. And I just continue to do it every year.
Yeah. And gladly so, and that's what I really love, because it just on your social media presence alone, we've never met in person, you and
Mhm.
I, and so it's just all been through social media, and, but just your social media presence alone, I can tell the joy that you guys have in putting these conferences on, so it's infectious. What is your involvement, when it comes to the conference? I mean, it sounds like you have a lot of hats that you wear during this conference. So what are just some of them?
So for me, I do our social media. So everything you see on our Instagram and Facebook, I've created, whether it be the graphics, the videos, the photos.
Wow.
Like I built the whole thing.
Wow.
It's what I do for a living. So
That's impressive.
So I do that, and then I handle all of our swag. So I try to come up with designs myself. If I'm not happy with them, I'll send them off to somebody else to tweak. But whichever, we've had our guys put in a couple of designs that they've done, and then I handle all of ordering and deciding on what it's really going to look like. Um, I'll send it out to the guys and get their approval. Any tweaks, how about this? I tweak it to whatever they like because they're the ones that's going to wear it anyway. We got
Right,
a
yeah.
lot of feedback from our guys, and yeah, I handle all that. So send that off. I manage our stock. I run our online store. I do all the shipping. It oof, let's see. I do all kinds of stuff.
But so when it comes to the conference though, you got the spouses track that it
Mhm.
but you're the
That's
photographer too, right?
Yes, I'm getting videos, photos. When we're doing the spouse track, I don't teach it. I bring in female firefighters to teach it, but I am
Okay.
there just kind of managing and supervising, help guiding, telling my story, of why this is even here and how it came to be,
Yeah.
and to build those relationships as well. During lecture part of it, I'm like usually during the conference, Joe and I try not to have a specific job. We have to try
Okay.
and be open so that we can manage anything that needs to
Right.
on. So I will be available. We have like a little area downstairs where spouses can kind of, if they get bored with the lecture, we can all go down there and just kind of chit chat together.
Okay.
Have
Well, good.
refreshments.
Let's jump into that then, since we're talking about the spouses track, because that's one thing I have noted here that I did not want to forget about. So the spouses track, what exactly does that entail? So if you got a spouse that's attending the conference, what is it that he or she could expect to experience there?
Okay. So if they are going to be there for the whole time, because some of them won't show up until like the hot day, but if you're there for the whole entire conference, you are allowed to sit in during the presentations, which I highly do recommend. Because, like I said, there are certain things that you can gain from yourself.
Mhm.
Some of the guys put on videos of like helmet cams where you can actually see them going in
Oh, wow.
and getting victims and then coming out into the daylight, and you see, like, it makes me emotional. Like, it's again another perspective of
Yeah.
the emotional things and that they're having to go through. So you can sit in and listen to those, and then like I said, there's a room downstairs that we can kind of sneak away to and have some refreshments and beverages and just talk, get to know each other a little bit,
Wait, okay.
and just have a good time together. We usually end up laughing loud enough that they can hear us upstairs, and Joe's texting me, "I can hear y'all." But
That I do enjoy my time whenever I go to these conferences and their spouse is there, and to just get together, even if it's just a couple or a dozen, to just get together. And it's amazing. I would go first when I would go to these conferences with Corley, I'd just be like, I'll just do my own thing. I'm very independent. I'll just go entertain myself.
Mhm.
And it took me a while, and the spouses were like, why don't you come join us? But it's amazing how quickly the ice is broken once you get past that. And I think a lot of women are like this. We're very guarded and
Yes.
protective of ourselves and our families. But once you allow yourself to just go down there and have a drink, soda, coffee, whatever, it's amazing how quickly the ice is broken and you become almost instant friends. And you look forward to seeing each other at the conferences, in the days ahead. So
Absolutely.
I love that you guys offer that. The couples roundtable.
Mhm.
Let's talk about that. What is I have a note here. It says, what is that going to be like?
Okay.
And how has it been received in the past when you've done them?
All right. So the couples roundtable is a very laid back social event. It'll be held in the same spot as our lecture. We'll bring some food in. Everybody gets to eat. Have beverages. There'll be beer, all that kind of stuff. We're very relaxed environment, and we have a panel of 3 fire couples that will sit up at the front. Um, this is where they can just. It's pretty much just open
Okay.
and guided a little bit. I've put out some opportunities for people to send in questions ahead of time if they want to, but a lot of times I already have questions that I want to ask, so
Yeah.
you
Well,
know.
so to me, I've done a roundtable before, and what's crazy is I felt like I left there with more value than I felt like I gave to the people. So it's more than just, and Corley and I have the honor of sitting on this round table this year with Dave and Katie Mellon and Watlingtons.
Mhm.
And so super excited about that. But it just amazed me that it's more than just us having the opportunity to share information to them, but also for the panel to receive whatever
Absolutely.
it is that the guests have. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome. I love that. I love that part of it. How has it been received in the past? Has it been
Very
obviously
well.
you're bringing it back? So
Yeah, very well. People have because like I've said, it's giving three different perspectives, because if there's one thing I've learned when I've been sitting through them myself, is that there's not one particular way that you have to do this life.
mm,
And it has worked well for each and every one of these couples. They can share their stories, they can share what they struggled with, what's worked, what didn't work, what they wish they would have known now that they know it now. You know,
yeah.
it's all that type of thing. And like there was one person who told me that they were single, and they were like a little reluctant when their chief signed them up for it. But they said that was probably their favoriteest part of the entire conference,
Oh
because it
wow.
a whole lot from it,
Well,
and
I think
just
you also realize that we're all human. We all have our own things that we're going through, and social media can be really deceiving in that way because a lot of times you only see the really great, grandiose things. People aren't sharing
absolutely.
the nitty gritty. Sponsor spots. You
Mhm.
do have sponsor spots.
Yep.
Tell us what that looks like.
So if we don't get any money for this, like we do not pocket it. Anything we get goes into the conference, and anything that's left over, if there's leftover, because this stuff, it takes a lot of money to put a
Yeah.
conference on.
Oh, absolutely.
So if there's money left over, we donate it to a charity. So usually we ask for sponsors because we pay for, the flights for our instructors and the hotels, and paying for venues and paying for food for everybody. So if you would like to sponsor, you email us at support@carolina.com, and you get a shout out on our social medias multiple times. We'll be putting you on our sponsor card that every single one of our attendees will get. And it'll also be on like a slideshow that's played out, in between things,
Okay.
or the lectures and stuff as well. If you want to send in a banner, we can hang banners up and stuff like that. We don't have big enough space for vendors, because this is, for one, we're struggling with parking anyway, so we're still working on all that. But
Yeah.
we just don't have space for like a vendor expo type thing. So,
Okay.
but we will like advertise, tag you in things, all that kind of stuff. So,
Okay. So that could be monetary sponsorships. Are you doing raffles? Are you taking merchandise for? Okay. And they could just
absolutely.
email you at that. What was that email again?
Support@carolinafiredays.com.
Perfect. As far as volunteers, I noticed that I saw a post go up the other day. Volunteers are very much welcomed.
Mm-hmm.
What is this the same email that they can reach you at?
Yep.
Okay.
Everything goes in there, because we have our all of our cadre has access to that. So we can all see it, and we pull what we can and let somebody know, hey, this is your email, so that they all can be seen. We all know what's going on and all work together to make sure everything gets met. Um,
Okay.
but for the volunteers, you are like, by being a volunteer, you're paying your way and you're paying for your lodging. But when you're there, you're counted in for our food. You're counted in, you get a red cadre shirt, and then you're also getting the opportunity to still learn, because you're still a part of everything.
Right.
And a lot of times, even if you're helping with like a hot class, they usually have some kind of opportunity where you can probably, jump in for something here and there
Sure.
and stuff as well. So it's still very rewarding. And maybe if you're not even sure about Carolina Fire Days, you just want to check it out, it's a great opportunity to really see what it is by volunteering, because we always need people to help with the live fire situations, manage SCBAs. There's just resetting
There's a
props.
lot.
There's always lots to go with it. So
Excellent, excellent. I don't remember if we touched on this early on, but as we're wrapping up, I wanted to, if somebody is attending the Carolina Fire Days this year, or if they're thinking about maybe in the years to come, what is it? So you got you got the lectures that go on, and you
Mhm.
got all that information on your website. They can go on and check out who's going to be lecturing. And then it goes into the hands-on training. So the lectures and the hands-on training are not done together. Is that correct? They're done
Right.
separate?
They're done
Okay.
separate so that everybody can attend the lecture,
Love that.
and then we have the hands-on training on separate days. So,
Okay.
'cause
Any
some
sort of social events or anything like that that they can
just the, roundtable is the only thing that we're hosting this year just because we've cut it a little bit shorter.
Sure.
But yeah, we post about all of it, on our social medias each year about what to expect for that. The spouses hot class, I didn't get to touch on that, but like the first day for the spouses, I have the female firefighters that are going to teach us how to do it, and you'll get to force a door and flow some water. We do some victim drags. We get to cut cards, different things like that. But we'll do like our own little togetherness where we're not around a bunch of other people, where it's a little bit more intimate, a little bit more safe feeling. So we don't have to feel like, we're going to embarrass ourselves because,
Right.
like,
Judged on our on our skills.
not. But a lot of people are intimidated by it. They're really scared to give it a try. And I just want everybody to know, like, do not be scared. Like, they teach you very, very like easy ways to do it. They help you so that you are going to be able to do what they're doing.
Yeah.
So it's a really good time. And that's all on the first day. And the second day we'll field trip to each of our hot sites,
Okay.
and that way you can see the different aspects of the different types of drills or skills that they have to do. And we also get to kind of like jump into spots and try things as well. So we'll still get to do more.
Oh,
Of
that's awesome. I love that. And potentially see your firefighter in action during the hot tracks.
That's the point.
That's really cool. That is really cool. I'm super excited to be there, with you guys this year. As far as, the conference or anything, is there anything else that you would like to cover? Did we
um,
did we miss
yeah,
anything?
definitely just follow them on social media, Carolina Fire Days on Instagram or Facebook. You can see what's going on. You can, check us out as it's happening, see if it may be something you want to try next year. If, you feel like you're not sure enough yet. And then also follow Twisted Fire Industries because we do more than just the fire conference. These guys, they travel all over the country putting on classes themselves. They also can assist in build outs for other training businesses. If you don't like, maybe you don't know how or you just don't have the time, like Joe and his guys will go and do build outs for you. Um, they sell some of their props, like their hallways, their window bars, different things like that. There's so many different aspects of Twisted Fire. And then also when we travel, if I'm with them and I see spouses, I'm pulling you on a hose line or letting you force a door. So I'm still always trying to, get the spouses involved with all that.
Yeah, no, I love that so much. So they could check out, you have a Twisted Fire Industries website, correct?
Yes.
And then
Yeah.
you also have a Carolina Fire Days. So the
Yes.
Carolina Fire Days is specifically just for the conference, is that correct?
Mhm.
Okay, and then Twisted Fire pretty much incorporates, what you were just discussing, the
Yes.
other things that they have to offer, that you guys have to offer.
Yep.
Excellent. Heather, it's been such an honor to have you on. I didn't know how this was going to go. We talked about it, with being the first run. But I feel like for the most part, we do have some live stream. I think on our end that we had some issues early on this today, and we didn't even know it. We thought we might have to postpone this, and then it came down to like we got the green light to go, but I'm noticing like we got some major lag and stuff like that. But other than that, I feel like this pretty much went off without a hitch.
Awesome. Well,
Like,
I'm just so honored that you had me on. I'm excited to be your first guest.
yeah, no, and it was great conversation. I feel like, we could probably go on for, like, another hour or 2 and just discuss so many other things,
Totally
like, we
good.
just barely scratched the surface. So maybe I don't know. I don't know what the future holds. Maybe in the future, we can do something like that. But, Heather, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. Looking forward to being there at Carolina Fire Days this year and, getting firsthand experience of, what it is that you guys, do. So,
Absolutely. Can't wait to have you.
all right, I'll see you in a couple months.
All right, we'll see ya.
All right. Hey, guys, hang tight. Heather's going to go off, and I'm going to continue on with the remaining part of this week's blast out. So we'll let Sam take care of that.
Thank you.
All right, guys. It How cool was that? When I started this, well, it's been like we do this every other week, and at first we were doing like, I don't know, like once every 3 weeks, and so it's only been recent that we've been consistent going every other week. So we're at volume 10, and how cool to see it like just develop into this where I get to have somebody on that's going to talk about their conferences. There are so many conferences and so many training events and so many fundraisers and things like that. I got so many people that I want to have conversation with on here that can give us firsthand knowledge of what it is that they're doing for the fire service. And there's not enough time in the day, so it was such a cool experience to be able to have that. And I'm glad you guys were able to share that with me today as I had Heather come on and tell about Carolina Fire Days. I hope that was able to answer some questions that anybody may have. Again, reach out to them if you have any other questions or would like to sponsor um, or help there at the conference this year. So I'm going to jump into we got fundraisers and raffles. Before I do that, my information comes from people emailing me at fhvpromo@gmail.com. I count on you guys sharing your information to that email so that way I can transfer it over to this platform and share it as far and wide as we possibly can. The whole point of creating the blast out is for Corley and I to continue to give back to the fire service and to the fire families. And so I really want to utilize that opportunity as much as possible. So again, if you guys have any information regarding trainings, conferences, fundraising events, anything that would be beneficial to the fire service or fire families, please share that to that email and I will make sure to add that to the next blast out. I've already got my guests lined up for the volume 11 of the blast out in a couple weeks. I've already got them lined up. It's going to be another really great conversation for something really cool that's coming up. So, anyways, all that, we're going to jump right into the fundraisers, raffles for the firefighters and their families. We got a fundraiser event happening tonight at Lake House Gastropub in Eatonton, Georgia. It's going to be in support of firefighter and Georgia smoke diver Chris Cummington. A certain percentage of the money raised at the restaurant is going to go to the family. There's also going to be live music and a raffle. That's tonight from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. there in Eatonton, Georgia at the Lake House Gastropub. I'm going to attach the flyer uh, after I get done with this week's blast out. I'll attach it to the comments. Flame Decon is sending decon soap to Maui firefighters. So I pulled this straight from their website. It says, help send decon soap to Maui firefighters. A few weeks ago, they sent 2 gallons of their soap and body wash to Hawaii for the firefighters dealing with the cleanup efforts in Lahaina. And she says, Tara says, as promised, if they needed more, she would open it up to everybody else. So here's your chance if you'd like to help. You can purchase a bar or more than a bar of soap. You can purchase as much as you want. Every purchase that you do of the Lahaina soap, when you go on their website, it's specifically, you can't miss it. It's specifically geared for this give back. But when you purchase the bar of soap, Flame Decon's going to ship it directly to the firefighters in Hawaii on your behalf. Purchase as many as you like to send on your behalf. It says, do her a huge favor and please share this. Share the information. She would love to be able to send them enough to last them a while. Tara goes on to say, thank you so much for helping get their products into the hands of firefighters who need them. Corley and I, our son, who is an Oklahoma City firefighter, Corley's more firefighter. We use this daily. We use it in our personal home. They take it to the firehouse. They use it there. Can't support Tara and Flame Decon enough. I'll have that link in the comments. Firefighter rescue surveys on Patreon. I'll share this every week as long as I can breathe. For as little as $1 a month, you can be a part of helping their mindset match the metrics. Donations are going to be used to help project expenses such as web hosting and software expenses. Since 2016 to July 1st of 2023, there's been more than 3,500 surveys collected on how, when, and where civilians are being rescued on the fire ground. Make a grab, make a report. Visit firefighterrescuesurvey.com to learn more and prepare for the next one. The 41st annual LLC Fire School in Parsons, Kansas. This is a save the date. It's going to be April 6th through the 7th. Registration opens on January 3rd, and the instructor application window is still open until September 30th. So you got what, like 9 days left to get those registrations in for the instructor registration portion. It says instructor highlights will be made throughout November and December, so stay watch for that. Registration's opening January 3rd, 2024. You can find and follow all the information at LCC Fire School on Facebook or Google, LCC Fire School. Contact Andrew Johnston for more information. And the event is going to be held at the Labette Community College. So again, 41st annual LCC, I keep saying LLC, it's the LCC Fire School in Parsons, Kansas. That's going to be held April 6th through 7th. Firemanship is back. Save the state, July 15th through the 19th in Aurora, Illinois. Cody Trustrell spoke pretty in depth about it on the special edition of Firemanship special that him and Corley did on the Weekly Scrap a couple, 2-3 weeks back. I believe it aired middle of August. So if you haven't listened to it, go over, find anywhere you listen to podcasts, you can find the Weekly Scrap Firefighter podcast, and it's the special with Cody Trustrell on Firemanship special. You can hear the information about it more there. Registration, I believe, is still expected to go live November 27th. I believe that's Cyber Monday. So stay up to date. Follow Brothers in Battle Facebook page for more information, for the information to be released in the days ahead. We got upcoming conferences, October 5th through the 8th, Mile High Conference in Denver, Colorado. The event begins on Thursday, October 5th and runs through Sunday the 8th. 2 days of lecture, followed by 2 days of hot. It says register for as many days as you'd like, but don't miss out on the great training opportunities coming to the Denver area next month. Catch some amazing instructors like Rob Fisher, Basil Ibrahim, Keith Stakes, Steve Robinson, and Brothers in Battle, along with so many others. October 14th through the 15th in Beaufort, North Carolina, Crystal Coast Fire Conference. You're going to be able to catch Steve Robertson and Corley Moore for 2 full days. Steve Robinson's going to do his class Stretching for Success. Corley's going to do a full day of 9 L's in the morning and Reflexive Readiness in the afternoon. October 20th through the 21st, Mid-America Fire Conference right here in Oklahoma at Rose State College in Midwest City at the Student Union with Court Smith, Steve Robertson, Todd Edwards, Jeremy Sanders. Jacob Johnson's going to kick it off that morning, and they're going to have breakout sessions to follow. So make sure that you go follow that Mid-America Fire Conference and get registered if you haven't already. October 25th, Corley's going to be in Davenport, Iowa at the Mississippi River Hall for a full day of the 9 L's and Reflexive Readiness. The cost is only $50. It's open to outside departments. So you don't have to be from the area to get that. Registration is open, and that's October 25th. My good friends, Firewife Life, they are putting on a couples conference November 9th through 12th. Guys, the couple conference is sold out. So if you snagged a spot, lucky you. The conference may be sold out, but the registration for the Fire and Ice Ball that they're having on November 11th, that's still open. So if you didn't get a conference pass to the couples conference, make sure you get on and get registered for that Fireman's Ball. I think more than anything, outside of like dressing fancy, I wish I was a fly on the wall. I'm not able to make it this year, but I look forward to whenever I do make it. But I wish I was a fly on the wall because I can only imagine the fun that's going to be had and the laughs that are going to be enjoyed. It says, enjoy an amazing event of fun and brotherhood for a cause. The tickets are $85 a person. The event's hosted by Bridge Mill Athletic Club and Firewife Life LLC. Your ticket's going to include food and drinks and dancing. There's going to be a silent auction. Sponsorship opportunities are available for the ball. You can email Kathy Edwards or Tracy McCart at firelifetraining@gmail.com. Proceeds of the event will go to Fire Life Charities, a 501c3 nonprofit organization with a mission to provide tangible hands-on programs, support, and resources to fire families and the first responder community at large. Whether it be a financial support, mental health intervention and resources, retreats and seminars, or scholarships for firefighters and volunteer departments to attend much needed but unattainable training, Fire Life Charities is committed to providing quality programming and meaningful support. So if you haven't checked them out yet, please do so. I'll have the link to their website listed in the comments. North Central Florida Fire Conference, December 12th through the 14th. Rob Ramirez is keynote this year. The North Central Florida Fire Conference offers classes in leadership, operations, and hot evolutions to prepare operations and officer level firefighters with career enhancing skills both on and off the fire ground. Vendors will be able to provide hands on displays to demonstrate the latest innovative products and services available. The conference was also crafted to train responders by local instructors for challenges familiar to North Central Florida when jurisdictions encompass both rural and highly populated areas. North Florida Fire Expo, completely different than North Central, if I'm saying that. Yeah. North Florida Fire Expo, completely different than North Central Florida Fire Conference. So mark your calendars, get registered now. I believe the registration is open. On the white sandy beaches, and some of the best training is coming up February 7th through 10th, 2024. So the conference is in February, but registration is open now. They would love for you to join them in celebrating blue collar excellence at the 2024 North Florida Fire Expo. It's their 5th anniversary as a conference and will be held on the white sandy beaches of Okaloosa Island, Florida. Classes are selling out. Don't delay. Grab an early bird special before it ends on October 1st. So definitely make sure that you go on, get registered. And that is it. That's all I have for you guys today. Again, if you want your information blasted out, please send it to that fhvpromo@gmail.com and I will make sure to get it added. I will see you guys back here in 2 weeks from today at 3 p.m. And I'll have another special guest with me. And I'm excited. I'll be sharing that in the days to come. So be watching for that. All right, guys, take care. It's Thursday. Have a fabulous Thursday and an even better weekend. See you soon.